Hello and welcome to AI Reviews. I'm your host, Lee. Today we are having an AI review of Dragon's Dogma 2, the highly anticipated sequel. Another game in the long list of games that come out early this year that I am excited for. So here we go. The AI will review it 4 times ranging from positive to negative.
Title: A Triumph of Fantasy Gaming, Dragon's Dogma 2 Soars to New Heights. By AI Tribune. In the ever-expanding realm of fantasy gaming, Dragon's Dogma 2 stands tall as a testament to the genre's limitless potential. Developed with meticulous detail and a commitment to pushing boundaries, this sequel to the beloved Dragon's Dogma franchise is nothing short of a triumph. One of the most remarkable aspects of Dragon's Dogma 2 is its immersive world-building. The game invites players to delve into a sprawling, intricately crafted open world, replete with diverse landscapes, dynamic weather systems, and breathtaking vistas. From the bustling cities to the untamed wilderness, every corner of this fantastical realm pulsates with life. The attention to detail is awe-inspiring, making exploration an enchanting journey filled with surprises. The character creation system in Dragon's Dogma 2 is a masterpiece in itself. Offering unparalleled customization options, players can meticulously shape their avatars to reflect their unique vision. From facial features to body proportions, the level of detail is staggering. This personal touch extends to the game's deep and engaging narrative, where players' choices have genuine consequences, adding a layer of depth that immerses them further into the unfolding epic. Combat in Dragon's Dogma 2 is a ballet of skill and strategy. The game introduces an expanded selection of classes, each with its distinct playstyle, ensuring that every player finds their perfect fit. The combat mechanics are fluid and responsive, encouraging experimentation and rewarding mastery. The introduction of new, awe-inspiring abilities and a revamped pawn system elevates the cooperative experience, as players can strategize and synergize with their AI companions to face formidable foes. The beauty of Dragon's Dogma 2 lies not just in its gameplay, but also in its visual prowess. The graphics are a spectacle to behold, with meticulously rendered environments and spellbinding creature designs. The attention to detail extends to character animations and expressions, enhancing the emotional resonance of the narrative. The musical score deserves special mention as it seamlessly weaves into the fabric of the game, enhancing the atmosphere and emotions at every turn. From epic orchestral arrangements to haunting melodies, the soundtrack of Dragon's Dogma 2 is a symphony that enriches the gaming experience. In conclusion, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a monumental achievement in the world of fantasy gaming. Its expansive world, rich narrative, unparalleled customization, and captivating combat system converge to create an unforgettable experience. This game is not just a sequel, it's a magnum opus that sets a new standard for the genre. Dragon's Dogma 2 is, without a doubt, a must-play for any fan of fantasy RPGs and a testament to the boundless possibilities of gaming storytelling.
Title: Dragon's Dogma 2, An Evolving Fantasy Adventure. By AI Times. Dragon's Dogma 2, the latest installment in the iconic fantasy gaming series, offers a mixed bag of delights and challenges, creating an experience that manages to charm despite some notable drawbacks. The world of Dragon's Dogma 2 is undeniably vast and intricate. The open-world design is ambitious, showcasing a diverse range of environments that beckon exploration. While the landscapes are beautifully crafted, the sheer size of the world might leave some players feeling a tad overwhelmed. However, the game mitigates this by providing fast travel options and a variety of mounts, making the journey across the expansive map more manageable. Character customization remains a strong suit for Dragon's Dogma 2. The game allows players to meticulously craft their avatars, from facial features to equipment choices. This personal touch extends to the story, where choices made by players influence the narrative. While the branching storylines add replayability, the impact of these decisions on the overall plot sometimes feels less significant than anticipated, leaving room for improvement in future iterations. Combat in Dragon's Dogma 2 is a mixed bag. On one hand, the introduction of new classes and abilities breathes fresh life into the gameplay. On the other, the combat system can feel a bit clunky and lacks the finesse seen in other contemporary RPGs. The pawn system, while still engaging, could benefit from further refinement to enhance the cooperative gameplay experience. Graphically, Dragon's Dogma 2 falls short of being a visual masterpiece. While the environments are visually appealing, character models and animations can feel a bit dated. The occasional frame rate drops and texture pop-ins also slightly mar the overall visual experience. However, the art direction and creature design managed to salvage the aesthetics, providing moments of visual brilliance amid the technical shortcomings. The musical score of Dragon's Dogma 2 is a standout feature, complementing the game's atmosphere and heightening emotional beats. The orchestral arrangements and thematic variety add a layer of depth to the overall gaming experience, creating a soundtrack that resonates long after the gameplay ends. In summary, Dragon's Dogma 2 offers a compelling fantasy adventure with a mix of strengths and weaknesses. While the expansive world and character customization contribute to its appeal, the combat system and graphical limitations leave room for improvement. Despite its flaws, Dragon's Dogma 2 manages to deliver an enjoyable experience for fans of the genre, and its potential for growth in future updates or sequels is evident.
Title: Dragon's Dogma 2, a disappointing sequel. By AI Examiner. Dragon's Dogma 2, the highly anticipated sequel to the beloved fantasy RPG, unfortunately falls short of expectations, offering a lackluster experience that fails to capture the magic of its predecessor. One of the major letdowns of Dragon's Dogma 2 is its open-world design. While ambitious in scope, the execution lacks finesse. The vast landscapes feel empty and devoid of meaningful content, leading to a sense of monotony during exploration. The world, though expansive, lacks the vibrant details and engaging side quests that could have breathed life into its vast expanse. Instead, players are left with a beautiful yet hollow shell, where the promise of adventure often gives way to a tedious and uninspired journey. Character customization, touted as a strength in the game, proves to be more superficial than substantial. Despite an array of options for avatar creation, the impact of these choices on the overall gameplay is minimal. The narrative, supposedly influenced by player decisions, lacks the depth and consequence one would expect, rendering the customization aspects more of a cosmetic feature than a meaningful contribution to the gaming experience. The combat system in Dragon's Dogma 2 is a significant letdown. While the introduction of new classes is a commendable attempt to inject variety, the execution is marred by clunky mechanics and unresponsive controls. Players may find themselves frustrated by the lack of fluidity in combat, a stark contrast to the seamless experiences offered by other contemporary RPGs. The pawn system, an integral part of the cooperative gameplay, feels outdated and in need of a substantial overhaul to meet the standards set by current gaming trends. Graphically, Dragon's Dogma 2 fails to impress. Character models appear dated, and the overall visual presentation lacks the polish expected in a modern RPG. Frame rate issues and noticeable graphical glitches further diminish the overall aesthetic appeal, creating a disconnect between the player and the game world. The musical score, while one of the game's brighter spots, struggles to compensate for its numerous shortcomings. A captivating soundtrack can only do so much to salvage an experience plagued by lackluster gameplay and uninspired design choices. In conclusion, Dragon's Dogma 2 disappoints as a sequel. Its open-world design feels empty and uninspired, character customization lacks meaningful impact, combat mechanics are clunky, and graphical shortcomings hinder immersion. While it may still appeal to die-hard fans of the franchise, Dragon's Dogma 2 fails to meet the standards set by its predecessor and falls short of delivering a compelling RPG experience.
Title: Dragon's Dogma 2, A Regrettable Descent into Mediocrity. By AI Post. Dragon's Dogma 2, the much-anticipated sequel to the once promising franchise, is a lamentable exercise in disappointment and missed opportunities. This game, rather than ascending to the heights of its potential, descends into the abyss of mediocrity with an alarming lack of innovation and an abundance of glaring flaws. One of the most egregious missteps in Dragon's Dogma 2 is its purported open-world design. While touted as expansive, the reality is an unremarkable and lifeless world that fails to captivate or engage players. Tedious and barren landscapes stretch endlessly, devoid of meaningful content. The promise of a dynamic environment falls flat, leaving players with a monotonous experience that lacks the vibrancy and depth found in more successful open-world RPGs. It's a vast expanse that manages to be both expansive and empty simultaneously. Character customization, often a highlight in RPGs, is a mere facade in Dragon's Dogma 2. The plethora of options fails to translate into a meaningful impact on gameplay or narrative. choices feel inconsequential, rendering the entire customization aspect a mere exercise in aesthetic trivialities rather than a dynamic and impactful contribution to the gaming experience. In a landscape where player agency is increasingly valued, Dragon's Dogma 2 feels like a relic from a bygone era. The combat system, once a strength of the franchise, has deteriorated into a sluggish and frustrating mess. The introduction of new classes does little to salvage the lackluster combat mechanics, which are plagued by unresponsive controls and a general lack of fluidity. Battles become a chore, and the once exciting pawn system feels like a relic from a past era, failing to keep pace with the evolving standards of cooperative gameplay. Graphically, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a visual eyesore. Outdated character models, glaring graphical glitches, and an overall lack of polish contribute to an aesthetic catastrophe. Framerate drops and texture pop-ins further underscore the game's failure to meet contemporary visual standards. It's a stark reminder that, in an era of breathtaking visuals, Dragon's Dogma 2 is content to linger in the shadows of its more visually impressive peers. The musical score, while competent, is insufficient to salvage a sinking ship. A lackluster soundtrack cannot compensate for a game that fails to deliver on its promises and offers a disheartening experience for fans who once held high hopes for the future of the Dragon's Dogma franchise. In conclusion, Dragon's Dogma 2 is an unfortunate misstep that tarnishes the legacy of its predecessor. Its lackluster world design, superficial customization, subpar combat mechanics, and dated graphics culminate in a regrettable descent into mediocrity. This installment does little to redeem the franchise and stands as a stark reminder that even the most promising series can succumb to a cascade of poor design choices and uninspired execution.
Thank you for watching this AI review. If you enjoyed this AI game review, make sure to like and subscribe. I will have a real review of it up the week I complete the game. I typically have 2 to 3 videos out each week.